Anthony Davis has been considered a superstar and one of the best big men in the NBA pretty much since he entered the league, but over the past couple of seasons, he hasn't looked like that same superstar that we expect him to be, and the Lakers have definitely felt the effects of his lowered production. So in today's video, we'll talk about Anthony Davis, we'll talk a little bit about the Los Angeles Lakers, and we'll talk about whether or not he's hurting his team right now. Let's get right into it. If you've not already, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm uploading videos every single week and your support goes a long way. But anyways, getting into things, pretty much every single season, it seems like Anthony Davis is considered a Defensive Player of the Year candidate automatically. It seems like he's already considered a top 3 big man in the NBA, if not the best big man in the entire NBA. And it seems like every single year since he's joined the Lakers, we are expecting him to take over that star role and kind of be the lead guy above even LeBron James. AD truly is a very special talent. He's a once in a decade type of player, maybe even more than a decade type of player, with his combination of size, athleticism, guard-like skills at 7 feet tall, and his basketball IQ. He's a guy who should be taking over the league and being an unstoppable player, and that's what it was looking like he was going to become for a long time. But like I mentioned before, over the past couple of seasons, he really just hasn't taken on that bigger role that people expected him to. When Anthony Davis first got to Los Angeles, like we talked about before, people expected him to come in and be the first option. It made sense because he was just entering his prime. Many people considered him the best big man in the NBA, and LeBron James, while he is arguably the greatest player of all time, was getting into his mid-30s out of his prime, and I think that even LeBron was okay with Anthony Davis being talked about as the star player of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's shown flashes and had moments where he did look like the star that people expected him to be. He was crucial to the finals run that the Lakers had in the bubble where they ended up winning. He's been big in certain moments since then, but overall, LeBron James has still had to carry most of the load. LeBron James has still been the star player of the team, and that is not all to blame on Anthony Davis. Nobody expected LeBron to still be in the conversation of the NBA's best player at 37 years old. LeBron James has still been unbelievable. So like I said, that's not all to blame on Anthony Davis, but I think that LeBron would be more than willing to let Anthony Davis carry some of the load. I think that LeBron James wants Anthony Davis to carry more of the load, and like I said before, I'm sure that he would be fine with Anthony Davis being the star player of this Lakers team, but unfortunately up to this point, that just has not been the case. Another reason for Anthony Davis's inconsistent play has been his inability to stay healthy. LeBron has been required to carry so much of the load because Anthony Davis oftentimes is not even there, which again is not completely in his control, but it has definitely hurt his game and it has definitely caused problems with the Lakers' chemistry and play style because the way they play with Anthony Davis on the court versus without him is completely different. It's pretty much two separate systems. LeBron James, when Anthony Davis isn't there, is running the show. It's kind of like that Cleveland Cavaliers offense where it's LeBron attacking and kicking out the shooters, versus when Anthony Davis is there, he really is kind of the first option on offense. They're looking to get it into him inside every time. So like I said, it's a completely different play style with Anthony Davis there versus not there, and over the past couple of seasons, you never know when you're going to get him versus when you aren't because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Another big problem that I have with Anthony Davis is that he isn't the dominant player that you would expect a guy with his size, athleticism, and skill set to be. In my opinion, he should be way more assertive than he is. When he gets a bigger, slower defender on him, he should be using his speed and quickness and post moves to get past them. When he gets a smaller guy on him, he should be taking them to the rim and posting them up every single time. But instead, oftentimes what I see from Anthony Davis is shots that I would consider him settling. He takes a lot of pull-up mid-ranges, a lot of post fades, fadeaway jumpers, and while these are shots that he can make and they're part of what make him so dangerous, he could get better shots almost every single time. I think that the fact that he can stretch out the floor and hit mid-ranges, like I said, is part of what makes him such a great player. But for me, his shot selection over the past couple of years has overall been pretty bad. This season and last season, stat-wise, production-wise, have been Anthony Davis's worst years since his second year in the NBA when he was only 20 years old, when you consider the fact that he is now 28 and what should be the prime of his career. It's honestly unacceptable for a player of his caliber to be producing as little as he has. So to answer the main question of this video, is Anthony Davis hurting the Lakers? I would have to say no. Having a player like him on your team is obviously a pro no matter what. Even if he is not playing up to his full potential, a guy with his abilities, a guy with his defensive presence and offensive abilities is always going to benefit your team. But I do think that the Lakers' title chances are much lower if Anthony Davis doesn't step up and become the player that we all know he can be. There is never going to be a situation where I wouldn't want a player like Anthony Davis on my team, but he definitely needs to play better, and he definitely needs to be that dominant force that we all know he can be, that he showed flashes of in the past. And I think that if he does, the Lakers will have a very, very good chance to make it to the finals and win another championship. But if he doesn't, I would see the Lakers not even making it out of the West. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think that Anthony Davis is hurting the Lakers, what changes he needs to make, what changes the Lakers need to make, and whether or not they can win a championship this season. Let me know what you guys think. Remember to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one.